All right, Brian, 6:15 on TMJ4 News today. Voters critical of past political debates have often called them boring. That is not an adjective in the conversation this morning following the showdown between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden.
Their first debate touched on topics like the coronavirus, civil unrest, and the new Supreme Court nominee. Both candidates tried to make their case to voters on who should be the next president. And this morning we are joined by Charles Franklin, a professor of law and policy at Marquette University. And Charles, thanks so much, first of all, for being with us this morning. I think I'm like a lot of people trying to comprehend still today what that debate was that we watched last night, something we've never seen before. Usually on mornings like this, we're saying, okay, who won the debate? We're talking about that. Did anyone win last night?
Yeah, I think no is the simple answer. What we saw was a debating tactic that the president employed, which is to simply interrupt constantly. And that both prevented Biden from making the points that he wanted to make, but it also allowed the president to provoke Biden to see if he could get him to melt down. We did see Biden respond to that a few times, saying shut up and things like that. But it also made the debate incoherent in the sense that it jumped from topic to topic and no one was able to maintain their messages and put them out.
What else I was thinking about last night, Charles, is, typical election season, you have a voter who performs well in a debate, hoping that momentum can carry, or a candidate can carry that momentum with a voter all the way 5 weeks out till Election Day. But with the prevalence of absentee balloting and people mailing in votes, you could have people casting their ballots today by the millions. So does that impress you as to whether or not this debate is particularly consequential?
I think that is certainly possible that we do have early voting. On the other hand, the early voters are the folks that have already made up their minds, and we're not likely to be waiting for the debate to see how it turned out to decide. So I think in that sense, it didn't matter. I think one thing for people that may have missed the debate is that in seeing clips from the debate, you don't get much of a feel for it. I would try, if you can, to go to cspan.org and watch the first 20 minutes or so, and also watch the last 20 minutes, because in the last half hour or so, there were fewer interruptions and you heard the messages of both candidates a little more clearly.
Now, Charles, your polling has showed that Joe Biden is leading here in Wisconsin, and there still are some undecided voters. What do you expect will happen based on what Wisconsin voters saw last night when you do your next set of polling?
Yeah, well, that's one of the nice things. We'll be out with a new poll in a week next Wednesday, and so we'll see how people reacted and if they shifted their views of either candidate. In my looking at social media last night, I saw complaints about the moderator. I saw complaints about each of the candidates, and I heard a lot of the use of lie being used. I think that those are not things that usually change voters' positions. They're more things that frustrate voters.
Well, Charles Franklin, a professor at Marquette University of Law and Policy, thanks so much for your time and, of course, your insight this morning.
Thank you.
For more information on your polling place and which candidates to expect on your ballot, you can always head to tmj4.com/vote.
Audio program in my left ear through